So thank you all for being here. I'm really excited to share some updates with you. The crisis, as we all know, is that we have 90,000 Americans on the kidney wait list. We had 100,000 die in the last decade. Half of the people on the wait list never get a kidney, die before receiving one. And dialysis costs taxpayers about $50 billion annually. It's about $100,000 per patient per year. Now, as we all know on this call, the kidney shortage is solvable. Plasma donor shortage was solved with compensation. Same deal for the surrogate mother shortage. The kidney donor shortage we will solve with compensating kidney donors. The End Kidney Deaths Act is the solution. Unfortunately, the clock is ticking. Things go really quickly. We only have 15 months left to get the End Kidney Deaths Act to the finish line. The congressional session ends in December of 2026. Every call, every email, every co-sponsor brings us further ahead, closer to that finish line. Together, we will end the kidney shortage and save lives. We have to push harder than ever before because the finish line is in sight. We must get this done. This is from a staffer who wrote, an important thing to note here is the slowness of congressional action. These kind of policies can take years, even decades, to simmer through the legislative process. Well, I know people on the kidney wait list, we don't have decades and we don't have years. We must get this done in time so that it passes in this congressional session. We are an impatient group, and we must apply energy because we have the will of the American people behind us. We must pass the End Kidney Deaths Act. Now, where is our focus? It's now in two places. The first one is to engage President Trump. We are doing direct outreach to gain his public support. And that is through letter writing to the White House, calls to the White House, and social media engagement. And the second big priority is to secure a Senate Democrat co-lead. We need to build bipartisan momentum in the Senate. Both steps are essential to strengthening the End Kidney Deaths Act and moving it forward. The update is that we have 30 House co-sponsors. Only one new co-sponsor this month. That was the slowest month we've had since the bill was introduced. We still have no Senate Democrat co-lead, and our top priority is securing that co-lead. So fortunately for us, Senator Moran from Kansas is committed to leading the End Kidney Deaths Act, but he will not introduce the bill until we secure a Senate Democrat co-lead. Our immediate priority, and I've already said this 3 times, is to lock in a Democrat co-lead. We have met with nearly every Senate office, 92 out of 100. By after Lobby Day, which is coming up, we will have met with every Senate Democrat. All the meetings have been positive. The Senate staffers understand that the End Kidney Deaths Act saves both money and lives, and that we do have bipartisan support, but our progress is far too slow. Now, when we speak with Senate Democrats or we write to them, these are some things that we can write about. That without a Senate Democrat co-lead, the bill will be labeled Republican and it will undermine the bill's credibility and Democrats' moral leadership on healthcare. We will claim a healthcare historic victory, and co-leading will mean that the senator who co-leads will be remembered as a person who helped end the kidney shortage, the single most solvable crisis in American healthcare. This aligns with democratic values of equity because, as we know, kidney disease is called the disease of poverty. It disproportionately impacts low-income people. This is a question of justice. We cannot allow preventable deaths to go on when a solution exists. It's been 40 years of these preventable deaths. We have a fiscal responsibility to save the billions of dollars that will be saved once the End Kidney Deaths Act gets to the finish line. And public opinion is on our side. There have been 4 surveys showing that the American public supports compensating donors, and Congress already uses tax credits to encourage pro-social behavior. We need to extend that principle to kidney donors. Now, here are some concerns that may come up when we're engaging with Senate offices. The kidney associations oppose it. No, that is not a fact. Only their government leadership teams do. 4 surveys demonstrate medical doctor support, and effective leadership means listening to patients, donors, doctors, and voters, not just to insiders who speak for their own self-interest and not the public interest. Is donor safety protected? Yes. The End-Kidney Death Act applies to non-directed donors and who require medical clearance, and our advanced transplant system will be maintained post End-Kidney Death Act. Why now? Well, this already should have been done decades ago, but because 30 House members are already moving, delay risks losing momentum and leaving the bill vulnerable to partisan branding. Now, ideally, we get a Democrat in place before October 22nd. That's our lobby day. We are going to meet in Washington. Anyone who can make it, I really encourage you to come with us. We are looking to meet primarily with Senate leadership, both Republican and Democrat. The Republicans we're encouraging to become original co-sponsors. The Democrats, obviously, a co-lead. 24 meetings have so far been scheduled, and that's just in the last 48 hours, where I wrote an email out to every Senate office. We really need to have far more meetings than that, but we're making good progress in scheduling them. I'm encouraging you to consider joining our lobby day. We need as many voices as we can to advocate for the End-Kidney Death Act. Your presence matters. Every person makes our movement stronger because we need to get this done. Here's our schedule for Lobby Day. We're going to start the day with a rally. We already have our permission from the Capitol Police. We will then have Hill meetings. I'm very excited that this year we've scheduled a briefing through Representative Maliotakis's office. We will have presentations and we will invite staffers. We will also serve them a really nice lunch in order to try to tempt them to allure them to come to our briefing. Then we will have additional meetings at the close of the day, a debrief, and then a happy hour for those who can make it at a nearby spot. And we need constituents for certain meetings. So as I've reached out, certain offices require a constituent to be in the meeting. People can Zoom in if needed. We need people, particularly in Rhode Island, West Virginia, and Iowa, where unfortunately we have not yet been able to schedule meetings, though there's interest on the Senate office side. Now, where we stand. We've met with nearly every congressional office. We have broad recognition that this bill saves both lives and money. But unfortunately, behind closed doors, I've had reports of 3 different organizations, large organizations, discouraging support in both the legislative and the executive branches. It's very disheartening. Their opposition does not reflect the will of patients, doctors, donors, or the public. In every story that you read about with any kind of social movement, there's always resistance. We must stay focused on the lives at stake. Another way to picture the impact is to imagine the largest football stadiums in the country that have 100,000 people in them. We need to counter the bureaucrats' harmful statements with truth, compassion, and persistence. We must save the people who will definitely die without this legislation. Now, let's talk a bit about the opposition we face. This is what is called corporate capture. We have bureaucrats who are protecting the status quo because it's in their financial interest. They rally behind safe and ineffective bills like the Living Donor Protection Act that has a really nice name, but will have no impact in terms of saving lives because the protections they're advocating for already exist, but there have been no subsequent saving of lives as a result of those protections being in place. And that they are play acting support while they are blocking real change. Why won't they defeat us? It's because history is entrenched with interests. Entrenched interests always lose when people organize. There have been many movements which had opposition but were successful because the majority of Americans wanted them. Civil rights, women's suffrage, and equality movements are examples. We fight for lives and we're not fighting for profits. And therefore, we've got the moral high ground and we have the will of the American people. How we will win is we will shine a light to expose the gap between words and actions. We're building allies, going to conferences, talking to people, getting donors, patients, doctors, and the public on our side. We need to stay persistent and keep our energy high, attending meetings, writing op-eds, writing letters, calling up representatives, applying pressure in that way. And we need to tell stories. Stories are very powerful. We are real people solving a real problem. And what they're doing is empty posturing and damaging and trying to damage our movement. We are many, they are few, and we are right. One idea is to ask your doctors to support the End Kidney Deaths Act. This past month, Patty Conagay from Florida asked her transplant doctor to support us. He's now on our list of supporters, and he is at Mayo in Florida, Dr. Christopher Kroom. We've also started Action Fridays. So on Thursday, I write emails asking everyone to take action on Friday. We've called the White House, emailed the White House, emailed our senators, and these are some other activities I'm going to ask people to engage in to help to move the End Kidney Deaths Act forward. This month, we have added 2 different social media accounts. We were already on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We are now on LinkedIn and Truth Social. Follow our accounts and repost and share our what is being posted, and let's try to get more attention, because that will drive our impact. One piece of good news is that when I Googled the End Kidney Deaths Act on several different computers, the first thing that came up was the letter to the editor written by me, as well as Arthur Mattis and Frederic Ambachir. And that came up first. It used to be that the article in opposition to the End Kidney Deaths Act, the one that is third, the End Kidney Deaths Act Risk of Irreversible Harm, came up first. So we're making some progress there. These are the stories that came out in the past month about us. The Vox story is very exciting. The Kidney 360 is also excellent. But the one I want to point out that really made me so happy is the National Review article, and the fiscal consequences of banning compensation for organ donors. You can find all of these articles on our website, endkidneydeathsact.org. You go and look at our media under the End Kidney Deaths Act, click and find our media exposure. And this is really, really exciting. I also had a letter that I wrote to the Chicago Tribune published. And then we've had as well mentions in op-eds, one targeting Representative Mannion. That's Grant's second op-ed, which is beautiful. And of course, Lindsay Gutierrez in Yahoo News talking about the End Kidney Deaths Act. She's an amazing advocate and a double donor. The director of the CDC, Jim O'Neill, and I'm going to play for you his speech, the portion where he speaks about.
Next question, for me, the most potent and vivid. Should organ transplantation be encouraged or discouraged? In a free market, recipients of life-saving organ transplants or their insurers or other benefactors would be allowed to compensate their donors, creating incentive for more people to save more lives. In a cartelized system, people continue to die far too early and needlessly. In America's cartelized system, 11 people every day die while waiting for a kidney that could save their life. And there are plenty of healthy spare kidneys walking around.
I'm hoping that he's aware of us and perhaps can help us accomplish this. Amber speaking, she was on the wait list at the time, speaking about her support for the End Kidney Deaths Act. And I love good news. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm just going to quickly play Amber.
I'm Amber DeGard. I live in Tucson, Arizona. I'm 30 years old, and I am in stage 5 kidney disease, currently on dialysis. I've been doing dialysis for 2.5 years. And I've been on the wait list for a kidney transplant just as long. Everyone in my family has tried to be a living donor for me, but has been disqualified. So right now I am looking for a living donor, and I am trying to advocate for other people who are in the same situation as me. I have hypertension, but I do not know the cause of what the hypertension was, but that was the main cause for what caused my kidneys to fail. And it is a very hard process on me. I feel like the longer that I've been on dialysis, the harder it is making a toll on my body. I have tried to stay healthy and go to the gym, but increasingly that is getting tougher on me because of the toll that dialysis takes. I'm also extremely allergic to the solution that the dialyzer is processed through my blood. So when I leave dialysis, I'm extremely groggy and itchy and drowsy, and I just sleep my entire day away, which has caused me not to be able to work. And I am solely living on Social Security and the help from my loved ones. I know that there's a lot of people out there right now that do not have that type of support system. They do not have the income or the resources around them in order to stay not only physically healthy, but also mentally sound as well. And so I feel like if we incentivized living donors by compensating them federally, it would really help a lot of people step forward and help others that are in need. Please pass a bill for End Kidney Deaths Act. It would save so many people's lives. It would save 100,000 people's lives in America.
So that video was recorded a year ago, and I'm just very happy to show you this video.
And congratulations, Amber. Thank you to Tucson Banner. I started my journey in Phoenix and I transferred here, and it was the best decision I ever made. The care that I've gotten here has been outstanding. Dr. Harlan, thank you so much for being a part of this and saving my life. Thank you for the care team, for the social workers. It takes a village for this to be accomplished, and it won't be taken for granted. So, thank you so much. And Bob, thank you. I've already told you thank you like a million times, but thank you so much. And I love you.
And so, you know, that is the story I want for everyone who's waiting on the wait list. I want all of their lives to be saved. We all do. And we just have to keep pushing, knowing the power of a kidney transplant. Now, I did review this with you before, but I want to do it again. This is Nathan from Representative Malloy's office telling me that this is the End Kidney Deaths Act is the favorite bill he's ever worked on. Representative Malloy is a co-sponsor, Republican from Utah. We really need more Nathans. We need more staffers who are very passionate about getting this bill to the finish line. And I just wanted to end on that note that we do have congressional support. Many people want this bill to be passed, and we just need to harness that energy and get there. Our next meeting is October 7th at 5 p.m. Thank you so much for listening.